Okay, so game 2 looks like Peasant. You could probably stick your token down on Mining Village for draw, maybe Peddler for buys or something like that. Wait, was that in between Mining Village and Peddler? That is Possession. Okay, so we have a different game in our hands right now. We have to think about Possession, and oftentimes when Possession is on the board, you want to build a deck that does nothing except play Possession. What would that look like here? Well, maybe a bunch of Mining Villages and Possession, but that's not good, because if you get possessed, your opponent could go explode all your Mining Villages and take free money from them. So then the next best thing is just to have a deck with Peddlers and Possessions. I go for a Peasant initially. I have 2-5 here, which is not the greatest thing in the world, but I open Peasant and Hermit. Madman is going to be very helpful to buy Possession, is why I start with the Hermit as well as to trash things out of my deck. My opponent goes for a Workshop alongside his Hermit. There are a few targets on the board for Workshop, so that is reasonable. I much prefer the Hermit, of course. 4 here or 3 is going to be a loan for me. Again, to get the thinning under control, I'm envisioning a deck where I get the Peasant up to Teacher, put the plus card token down on the Peddlers, and then put the plus action token on the Possessions, or whichever one first, and then play lots of Possessions. That's really it at this point in the game here. I do pick up a Silver my turns 4. Both my initial buys missed the shuffle, which is unhappy times for me. But I choose to play the Hermit instead of the Peasant. I feel like the Hermit is just way more important to trash to get a Madman to speed things up. So, and I'm not overly concerned about having the Teacher tokens on any of the piles really. It would be nice to have plus action on Possession, for instance, but it's not necessary. Not necessary. So my opponent is building the conventional thing here. I see he has a Peddler now, a couple Mining Villages, and the Travelers going up the line. I choose to trash the Silver here and buy a Conspirator instead. I feel like the Conspirator was just better than the Silver. Didn't need the Silver anymore. It wasn't really doing much for me, I felt, so I trashed it. I was uncomfortable buying it and gaining it off the Hermit in the first place because it can collide with Loan. So I figure, well, the Conspirator will not be able to collide with Loan, so let's get the Conspirator. Did not want to get the Mining Villages because, like I said, your opponent can use them to their advantage, but I'm dumb because you could just voluntarily blow up your Mining Villages whenever you want and then nobody could use them. So definitely there the Mining Village is better than the Conspirator. It draws a card, and if I need the $2 from it, I could get it if I want. So I'm all the while here cycling through these Hermits, picking up Madmen along the way here as much as I can, looking for a good opportunity to pick up the potion. I'm trying to set up my deck so that it would be able to buy a Possession on a turn when I play Madman. So think about Mining Village here, but I go for the potion now. There's a Madman in the next 5 cards. Maybe with a decent draw I could sneak up to Possession. Maybe. Perhaps I should have waited a little bit longer when I was a little bit thinner. Use the Hermit to get rid of the one of the 2 remaining estates at least. Pick up our Mining Villages and then go for Madman. I could see that, and it's probably true. That is a little bit premature for the potion, and as it turns out, yeah, just a little bit premature. I mean, with a better draw, I would have been able to buy it. Had I seen my Conspirator, for instance, I definitely would have been able to pick up Possession here, but 5 potion is one coin agonizingly short of the Possession here. So instead, what I'm going to do, I pick up, what did I gain with the Hermit? I gained another Hermit, and I'm going to buy Salt the Earth here, just because I don't want to buy a card so that I can gain another Madman to try to buy Possession. Now I choose to Salt provinces. One comment that I had after the game from Dan Brooks was that Perhaps I should have chosen another victory pile just because I want the game to go a bit longer so that I can buy more possessions and play them. My opponent actually has shown no signs of wanting to buy a possession at all. Even though their deck is way better than mine. Look at what he's putting together here. He could easily pick up a potion and probably buy one on the next turn. He's been doing well with his loan. The Hermit has removed all or two of three of the estates, so he's doing real well. He's up to Disciple now in the Peasant line. Yeah, I mean, maybe I misread the board, right? Maybe you build a little bit normally like him, buy your possession, blow up your mining villages, and just try to play with possessions from there. The conspirators will be dead cards, maybe, unless you put plus action on them, but if it gets you there faster, then maybe it's worth it to do what my opponent did at the start here. Bit of a stall turn for him. I'll take it. Hoping to see the potion here. I don't, so I have to trigger the second Madman. I was hoping to not have to do that. My hope was that, okay, I could buy one possession of the single Madman and then use the second Madman to find the possession and play it right away. As it turns out, I draw well possession at the top of the shuffle here. And we will see what is going to happen with my opponent's deck now. I get rid of the potion here, probably not going to get up to possession with just one peddler in hand and no madmen at all coming. So out comes second province for my opponent. He's been buying victory points in the meantime. He has been buying victory points in the meantime. It seems like he won. Oh, this is the first province, sorry. I used ShuffleIT on the first one. So he seems to be a bit concerned about the possession. But if I keep drawing hands like this, doesn't have anything to be concerned about. I didn't even see when he picked up on embargo. I don't know what that's doing in his deck. But here, of the multitude of terminals, I choose to play the Hermit, mostly because I wanted a Madman. A secondary benefit is that I get to put his teacher out of the deck so that it would be quite difficult for him to find that teacher on his next turn. Gain a silver here. I don't really see anything better for me to gain. Maybe a farmer's market, but that's terminal. The silver is not terminal. I can at least buy things. So I don't expect him to find his teacher on this turn, and he doesn't actually find the teacher on this turn, which is a little bit helpful for me. If he sticks his token down on anything really, conspirators, mining villages, or peddlers, then I'll be in some trouble here. He has a peasant here just for the plus buy, which is cool. But once the teacher comes down, he can rectify that situation with the teacher. Now I find out what the embargo token is for. It's to put it on the possessions, but I don't care. I have Hermit to trash the curses, and I'll happily buy possessions through that embargoed curse. So he goes for province and salt here. So he's really pushing the end of the game, which is the correct thing to do when, you know, you're coming on a possession fire here. Madman gets skipped by the loan here. Not great, but I know I have the possession in the next hand. Seeing as how I didn't see it with the cards that the loan flipped up. And here we go. We're going for possession to number 2, and hopefully it could be a lot better. Something like this. Something like this would be ideal for me here. So he got rid of his peasant, so he only has the 1+ buy in his deck right now. Maybe that's on purpose too, just because he knows possession is coming, and he buys another province. So things don't look so good for me. I was really hoping to have more than one possession at this point. I was also hoping to, you know, maybe disciple a possession and whatever, but not the case. Anyways, exciting times ahead. I'm going to take the teacher token, tell my opponent, look, put the plus buy on the peddlers. Could have put the plus card, but I really wanted the plus buy. I need to buy a lot of victory points to win this game. So here we go. Mining village, boom. Mining village, boom. Just explode everywhere. Crash, burn, disciple, excellent. I'll take $4 from this conspirator. And this is the nasty, nasty thing about possession. You could, you know, build your deck nice and happily, as you've learned after so many games of Dominion, then to have this happen to you. All of this good stuff and no benefit for you, all the benefit for your opponent. and not just benefit for your opponent, but I'm gonna wreck his deck here in a couple of ways. Now I spent some time thinking about what's left in the deck, whether or not to play the loan, and he has no peddlers left. He might have a couple villages, but I'm willing to not play the loan here on the chance that he has a stall turn. Like I said, most of his peddlers are here, which definitely he won't get the benefit from it, and there might be one or two villages in there, I'm not entirely sure. So I don't play the loan here, do not play the loan here, nor the soldier, because I see that I have a madman on the other side, so I would like that to draw as many cards as possible. I also do not play the hermit because I don't really want to gain anything, and look, second part of wrecking his deck is that I exchange his precious disciple into another teacher. Possession is nasty, and as it turns out, he actually has a stall turn here. A couple conspirators on our workshop is not going to cut the mustard. Not going to cut the mustard to do anything on his turn there. So he just gains another mining village. So again, you don't really want to buy a mining village or gain a mining village when you see your opponent with possession, because I just like utterly abuse that on his turn. Anyways, so here, possession or province, province, right? It has to be province. If I take province, I go up to 20 points, just 3 short of my opponent. And if I see something like province and salt, I could take it and win. Province, yeah, province and salt wins. Double salt and duchy wins as well. And I do find the peddlers for the plus buy and blow up a set of mining villagers along the way to actually come out with the win here. So I didn't think that I was going to win this game given how things went in the beginning for me, and my opponent was building up real nice, but I think he ignored possession to his detriment, and ignoring it here doesn't just mean not buying one, but also not making your deck resilient to possession in a sense. So I sneak out game 2 here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.